Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is Live 101. I'm going to show briefly what we've done over the past, actually last stream there was Live 100, a special one that we did, and I want to comment. So it's been hard, as I've mentioned in previous live streams, to show up weekly as I was doing before. So I'm trying to look for a new schedule to basically code live and share some of the things that I'm tinkering around with. And yeah, there's a lot. There's creative AI, there is the Getting Simple podcast, new episodes that we're trying to edit, and many tutorials that are accumulating in my mind because I want to record them and share them on YouTube and with you on the live stream, but it's not easy because of time constraints. So yeah, today I'm gonna just spend 1 hour with you. I'm gonna try to catch up on some things that I wanted to do. Take a look at what we did in previous streams for automating markers for YouTube with the Stream Deck and some Python programming and some new stuff that I finally managed to do. And yeah, so feel free to write on the chat if you connect live today, or leave a comment on the YouTube video of this stream if you want to ask anything or if you want to suggest topics. And yeah, we're gonna get started now, and I'll try to add chapters. I'm trying to automate the workflow how I do this, because I know even for me when I revisit these videos, it's super useful to see some sort of markers on the YouTube timeline in a way that we can browse the video more intelligently, and we don't have to be like scrolling through and trying to guess what's happening at every minute of the video. And yeah, with that, I'm happy to be here with you, to be showing up. It's Friday, it's not Thursday night, but I'm gonna try to see if this timing works or if we can show up for shorter periods of time, but more times during the week. Yeah, and for those of you who are new, I'm Nono Martinez Alonso. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at NonoESP, and YouTube is, this is the channel, is youtube.com/Nono Martinez Alonso. You can also join the Discord community at nono.ma. I'll show a screen later. And yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna get started. Yeah, as I said, the community is at nono.ma/Discord. Discord. There's a QR code and a short link there. And yeah, so last live stream was Live 100, which I called Creative AI with Friends. What I've been trying to do over most of the 100 streams that we did in season 1, season 2, and this that is season 3 has been seeing how we can use machine learning models, especially generative image generation models, for creative uses, right? Those might have to do with manipulating drawings or generating images from scratch, but also trying to classify and detect objects on images and do other things. We've tried many different models. And for me, this is sort of like a playground. I've been trying to see if I could play and learn about these models outside of my work hours on my own projects, because I always recommend that we don't have that much time in our daily routine, might be work or your free time, to do these things. So showing up live focuses me and also allows me to share with you the things that I'm learning and show the learning process as well. And many times we record live tutorials, which has been also awesome. So in Live 100, we had 4 special friends. That's why it says Creative AI with Friends. And those were Adam Menges, ex-Lobe AI. Now he's working on a different startup also that has to do with designing user interfaces to interact with generative models. Joel Simon, who's the creator of Artbreather and the founder of MorphoGen. Jose Luis Garcia del Castillo, who's the founder of Parametric Camp. He's a professor at Harvard, a good friend. He worked with me before at Autodesk, and he also has a live stream. He's also on computational design, and he does a bunch of really good tutorial and educational resources. And Kyle Stenfield, who's in Oakland, in University of California, Oakland. And he's also been playing with generative models in an academia setting and workshop setting mainly I would say for fun, but just to see what the role of machine learning on architecture is. All right, so that's Live 100. It's a conversation I want to edit down for the Getting Simple podcast, but in short, you can already listen and watch at None of the Maslas Live/100. I believe that we've updated that, and I'm going to check now if we've updated that URL. Let me actually do that quickly because otherwise I'm going to forget. So I'm going to go here. We're going to go to, not here. Okay. So my links, short URLs, and yeah, okay. None of them, my Live 100. That's linking
some representation
to that conversation. Okay. And, we recorded, or not only recorded, but streamed for the first time. So this was the first time I've used Riverside.fm for streaming. So these that you can see here was streamed live to YouTube with I don't know if it's 1080p or 720p, but it was pretty good, pretty easy for me to invite guests. People could join mid-call and I didn't have to handle anything. This is the interface I was seeing. So you can see that my camera, for example, on my screen was more resolution than what you can see on the preview, and as well as for everyone else. So that means that with Riverside, you can actually invite people, and what the website of Riverside will do is that it will capture everyone's video and audio from their raw devices, so their camera or webcam or their microphone, and it will upload the high quality ones, the raw ones, to the internet, to Riverside. So later you have each video of each person and audio in individual tracks that you can edit on Descript or Adobe Premiere or whatever software you use. You can download the tracks separately and they will always be exported in sync. So that means that if somebody just showed up for some time, or you have special effects or sharing screen, those will be long videos with the same duration, so you can match them on the same composition really easily. Yeah, you can see, if we take a look here, you have the concept of a studio. The studio was called Live 100. You have the concept of people who are on the actual call and audience. I was really happy to see many of you online. I've named some names, but, John Mark wrote me, Rob Beal was there asking questions and comments. Viral Takar even joined the call. Mayur Mystery showed up. Ricardo Cesar Rodriguez, Wanda showed up. I actually missed Ajay Kumarji. I didn't see him around, but, many people from the community that we've been trying to get together. And that's been, if I go back to this slide, Live 100 was about celebrating the efforts also that we've done to kind of meet everyone and create a community in which we're all learning about creative uses of computers, right, in some way. And it's a way also to find other people that enjoy similar topics. Okay. So as always, you can submit questions at gettingsimple.com/ask, and I'll try to answer them on the podcast. And for today, I promise we have at least 40 minutes that we can be playing with stuff. I'm going to, let's see, so we don't have anything here, right? This is just a placeholder. So for today, okay, this doesn't work. Yeah, for today, let's take a look at what we have and try to do some coding. I'm going to show you, so the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you the work in progress of how to add markers and transcribe with the Stream Deck that I have been doing for some time. And we also have a set of videos that I want to record at some point, things that I'm learning that I would love to record during live stream sessions and upload them later to YouTube as standalone videos. Because, some of those things I learned and I want to encapsulate into a video that I can then share to other people and say, okay, this is how you upload shorts to YouTube, or this is how you debug a React application. And those packages, like those small videos that you can then share with other people, are super useful because many people would discover the channel through them. And I can also reference, like copy the link and send to somebody who wants to do a specific thing. I also want to start some sort of series with like productivity tricks that I've learned over time and that I use. You see me using many of those on the live stream because you see my screen. Tricks with Notion, with Chrome search engines, which this one is one of the simplest ones that I love and use the most, and some Google Chrome tricks that that we can Google Chrome, and I don't know if it's sent directly. Enable shortcuts, tags. Yeah, I think this is probably Gmail tricks I wanted to say here. Okay, so if we take a look at the add markers and transcribe, I have a script that I've shown before on the live stream, that if we go to recordings OBS, so we go here, we are recording at the moment. So this video here, so I started recording at 9:58, and because I've clicked on the Stream Deck a few times, the mark key, which you can see here, so it's this mark key. I also have these others. I've put like these dots for different markers that I have so far in this screen, and I have others for, these are for the podcast, but I haven't been using the podcast ones that much, but mainly I'm using this mark one and some of these ones sometimes. I think it's easier just to use the one for mark. So what happens when I click here, right? So if we close this, we have, and some of you have already seen this on the live stream, so sorry for repeating, but I want to explain for people who are sort of new, right? So these are the contents of this marker file, and we have them here, and I opened this file in Visual Studio Code so we can see it. I could actually, this is just a file, and I could put here already introduction. That's what I will do while I'm editing later. So the idea is that if I'm recording a video or doing a tutorial, I'm doing it. So at least when we start a section, we know what we want to do. So I can say, okay, there is a marker here because I'm going to start talking about, let's say, TensorFlow. So that is a process that is really easy in the moment, but it's really hard afterwards. If you have to go back to a two-hour recording, might be a podcast or a video, I have to manually scroll through and try to infer what topics are when, and when do I change topics, right? So if we do it live, if we do it in the moment, that simplifies the process a lot. So the idea here is, so let's say I'm going to talk about, I don't know, oranges, right? I would click on my bottom here. So I have the Stream Deck right there on my hand, my left hand. So I can say marker. So I press there and say, hi everyone, we're going to talk about oranges now. And manually what I can do if I do it live is like, okay, this is the marker for oranges, right? And I can maybe click one of the other buttons, and if I do intro, it says introduction automatically. Off, it's an interlude. Out is if I do an outro. Today, a link if I want to link something. So I will remove that later, but I will go to that timestamp moment and see what I wanted to link, and then break if I'm going to take a break. And then later I can do interlude or like a new marker for when we're back at streaming, right? So these ones I'm going to remove because actually here we're talking about markers and transcription, right? That's the section. But how can we, this is really good, but how could we automate this even further? One way to do markers that is really good is that if after you record, or even while you're recording, you transcribe your entire episode or stream or video, then you can see the text. So it's really easy for you to spot when you say, hi, it's Nono, and this is whatever, or now we're going to talk about PyTorch. Those are really good. But the workflow that we've been trying to develop here, and I did some work offline since the last time I looked at it on the live stream, has been using OpenAI's Whisper to transcribe what I'm saying basically from the audio of the video that is being recorded here, because it has a video track, extract that audio and transcribe it, and then patch it into this file, right? So I haven't managed to make it work still from the command on the Stream Deck because FFmpeg doesn't seem to like it that much. But if I break down the workflow a bit, and probably it's easier if I go directly into the code and show you, is fairly simple at the end. We already had a script. So I have a script that simply calls a Python script, right? That's an entry point for the Stream Deck. But if we go here, I already had, let's try to collapse some of these functions so we can go through the code and understand a bit what's actually happening here. There is quite a bit of work here, but I enjoy this type of automations and I think it's pretty fun. Okay, so let's see what functions we have here. So we have some functions for managing timestamps and durations and things like that. So we have elapsed seconds since start, right? What does this do? This gets a file path, right? From a file path, it gets the modification time, the last time that was modified, and it gets the file's birth time, right? So this is basically when did you create the file, when was it last modified. So we can see more or less accurately how many seconds have passed since the file was created. And that is indeed, if we're actively recording now, that is the duration or like the timestamp of the current marker of the current time, right? Now what we do, because we get the seconds there, we can say, okay, now turn that duration from seconds to hours, minutes, and seconds. So I basically do a bit of math to get from seconds to hours, minutes, and seconds. And we also have a method to go from seconds to timestamps. So this is basically to convert the duration or like the times, like the amount of seconds into a marker. So this is what you're seeing in here. So if I click on mark, these were seconds that were converted into an actual string marker, 1831. That's actually, we can do 18 by 60 plus 31. So we had probably 1,111 seconds, and that got converted into 1831. Then we have the timestamp method. So we actually get the timestamp for a file and we say, okay, seconds, how many times passed since we created the file? We get it to hours, minutes, and seconds. And then we say, okay, seconds to timestamps, hours, minutes, seconds. Actually, this is not super intuitive because seconds to timestamp would be just getting these seconds to timestamp, but it's okay. That's kind of like my fault from the past. And then timestamp to seconds. So we do the inverse, right? So we get this and we get, what we did before, we multiply it by 60 or by 62 times if it's hours, and we get the duration seconds for a timestamp. All right, so that is just to create the markers. And there is a method here that will add the marker, and what it does is that it takes a set of file extensions for video and audio, and it will look, there is a function that if you don't provide a path and you just provide a recording directory, it will look for the file that has been edited the most recent to use that file for the creation of the markers. And what we do is that we get a path for the markers.txt file, and then we save the marker timestamp basically by appending text here. So that's what happens when I do this, right? And that's in a nutshell the process that we had before that I already have, that I'm using there on the Stream Deck. But there is another process that I'm doing, which is a video marker to audio clip, basically like trim a video marker's audio clip. That's basically, I give you a marker and I want some video surrounding that moment, so, or some audio clip more specifically, because I want to transcribe that with Whisper. And what that means is that we use FFmpeg to trim the video from the start to the end time that we decide. And that actually, okay, so this is what happens when I don't have the preview. Well, these are things that happen live. I need to have the preview more often. Okay, so I've gone through the code, but I was on this screen mode. So you're not gonna see anything, and there's okay, so we did that, and we're gonna do it again. So let me use this time. Okay, so let's just record again. So I'm gonna create a marker. Okay, markers and transcription. So this I'm gonna put here, interlude, and we're gonna go through the actual thing so people don't get confused, right? This is what this is useful. All right, so what I was saying before, let's go here. Okay, so I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna do it again, but a bit quickly because now I've seen what we've done. So I'm gonna go through this script that is called marker, add, and transcribe. The file itself creates YouTube-friendly markers for ongoing audio and video recordings. And I'm gonna walk you through quickly through these helper methods that I have here to basically end up trimming audio from a video clip to audio, right? So segment of the video audio to audio, transcribe that, also get the marker timestamp of the video when we click the button to create the marker on the Stream Deck, and add that to a markers.txt file like this one, right? So with that said, let's go here. So we have first elapsed seconds since start. This is a method that basically gets a file path, and it tells us the diff between the time when it was created and last modified, which gives us the seconds of the moment in the timestamp when we click for the marker that we need to create that marker. Then we have duration seconds to hours, minutes, seconds, which converts the seconds into hours, minutes, and seconds, and it says. And then we have seconds to timestamps. We actually get hours, minutes, and seconds, not the seconds, which is a bit counterintuitive. But we actually get, it's not really seconds to timestamp, it's duration to timestamp, right? Duration seconds to hour, minute. It's basically, we might break this, but let's actually, now that we're doing this, so we can edit duration. Actually, yeah, it's duration. So let me try here to find where we set seconds to timestamp. Yeah, so this now doesn't exist. So we're gonna put here duration, seconds to timestamp. Yeah, okay, that's good. So this duration to timestamp gets hours, minutes, and seconds, and outputs a string, minutes and seconds if it's less than an hour, and hour, minutes, seconds if it's more than an hour. And that's that's what's happening repeatedly here, right? So these seconds and minutes get converted. So here we're probably getting 24 by 60 plus 21, so 1461 seconds are going into that command from the seconds, and then we're getting the actual string timestamp. And okay, so then we get the timestamp. So we actually call timestamp and we say, okay, seconds, elapsed seconds since start. We get the hours, minutes, and seconds. And then we say, okay, duration to timestamp, and we get those hours, minutes, and seconds input, and we actually get the timestamp string. And then we could actually add descriptions here. So returns the timestamp of an ongoing recording as a string. Yeah. And then we have timestamp to seconds, which is the opposite process. So we get a timestamp, which is a string. And we can say here the converts and a string HHA, so hours, minutes, and seconds timestamp into seconds. And that just basically gets that, maps the different parts of the thing, and it gets the duration in seconds. And then for the normal script that I have, the one I'm using here to do these things, right? We actually have this add marker utility, which allows you to input a path or a recording directory. If you input a recording path, basically when you don't input a path and you input a recording directory, you will look for these types of files, see which one is the one that has been edited the most recently, right, by modification date. And you'll create a markers.txt file that is the same naming that we have here for the video. And that's where you would create the timestamp, right? Say timestamp for the path of this recording file. And then we'll write to that marker, basically the timestamp, the text, and then a new line. And, you know, that's pretty good. And in here, I'm actually, for that marker that was added, I'm returning, this is something that I added that is new, I'm returning the timestamp and the recording path. That means that we have the possibility of doing something to that file, to the recording path, and then if we do something that we're going to talk about right now, we can add that text at that same stamp, because we would have the text here. We will know it's 2139. So if we do some processing, we can go back to the file and say, okay, give me the line where it says 2139, and we can replace this text. And that's basically what we're going to do now. All right, so up to here was normal transcription, so normal marker adding, but then I created this utility to transcribe, right? So before in this file, we would not have the transcript padding and transcript duration arguments. That's because we would just do this thing, right? Like we add marker, optional, like we have the text, we have the file or the directory, and then we get back the timestamp and the recording path. We will end there. But what we've done now is that I've added this transcript wait and transcribe function where we pass the timestamp, the recording path, and the transcript padding and duration options. That tries to use Whisper's OpenAI to clip a segment of audio from the video that corresponds to what's surrounding that marker timestamp that we're passing, and then patches it back, basically adding the marker transcript for the transcript text at that file, right? Add marker transcript, transcript text, recording path. Okay. And yeah, I'm not sure how that works, but let's take a look. So I don't remember. Wait and transcribe, we have it here. So it says waiting for how many duration seconds, because, you know, if you, the logic here is that if you want to transcribe a file, right? Like I want to transcribe, for example, this I'm saying right now, I have to wait until that has been said so the program can actually clip that audio, because otherwise it doesn't exist. And after we wait, we clip it and then we do the transcription. So here we sleep for how many seconds we want to record plus 1. And then we say, okay, we're going to output the video's audio for that segment to .clip.wave. And we say, okay, video marker to audio clip. This is what is a method that uses FFmpeg here to trim video markers audio clip. So we just trim from the start to the end of the segment that we get. And here's where the padding is used. So we say, okay, timestamp to seconds. So we get the seconds of the moment on the video where we want to get. And we say, okay, give me the maximum for marker seconds minus the padding, or 0. So we will start at the beginning, or if we're in the middle of the video, we have some padding so we can go a bit back, like rewind, and actually record a bit of audio before the marker was pressed. So if you forget to press the marker before you talk about the thing you want to put on the marker, you have some padding there, some margin. And then the trim end is marker seconds plus duration seconds. So it's basically the moment we click the marker plus how many seconds we've told the algorithm, like this program, to wait. And if we go here right now, the padding is to rewind 4 seconds before you clicked or execute the program, and the duration is 10 seconds after you click. So we're gonna basically transcribe 14 seconds. We'll have to wait 11 seconds to start the process of transcribing, and then we will if we go here, we run that. So we trim the video with video marker to audio clip, which is inside of wait and transcribe. And then the transcript, we say, okay, transcribe, output clip path, return transcript. So we return what has been transcribed with Whisper. And you know that is here. So print transcript text. And later we add the marker transcript, that transcript text, to the markers. This actually is something that I didn't think, is that the marker timestamp is really important, because add marker transcript is probably just adding it to the end, right? To the last, let's see, marker, split marker timestamp, but we're not passing this. So we're assuming text, markers, file path. I'm gonna put here marker timestamp, because this is seems like a global variable, and otherwise it will get confused. So we're actually using the variable that I wanted to use already, but I'm using it globally. So I have to put here marker timestamp, and I think that should work. So we actually open the file of the markers in read mode and list all the lines. So we iterate through lines until we find a line that has the marker timestamp. So the moment in time where we actually clicked. And because at this moment we already would have or should have the transcript, we actually replace the text marker, which is what we're adding here by default on that command. And we will replace this text with whatever we have been saying, right? So that's it. You know, this is kind of the UX with like. So if I create a marker, we would see here what I have said. And you can understand that if I say, hi, it's Nono, now we're going to talk about PyTorch. What that does is that now, you know, I can say, okay, now I said, now we're going to talk about PyTorch. So I can remove this and say, okay, the marker at that time is just PyTorch. All right, so that here concludes the kind of the walkthrough, and you know, we'll just write that to the file. We'll rewrite the entire file with what we've edited there. And now I'm gonna run the, you know, we print done. So I'm gonna run this script from the command line, and we're gonna see what happens. And we're gonna hope that it works. I mean, we have these files. I'm gonna close and open so we don't break anything. And I'm going to put this screen here. So maybe we can now, okay, so now it makes sense to put this here. Or maybe we just put it at the top. Okay, so we put this, put this here. So the marker should appear here. And we're gonna put this other window right in here. Okay. So I actually have to run that, even though I have a key there, I have to run that from the command line, right? So I'm gonna put a marker here manually. So I'm gonna demo this. Let's go here and write demo. And now we're gonna basically try the script. So we're gonna do, if we do directly run this command, it's not gonna work because we need some dependencies. So let's just try right now. We have the default conda Python. So if I do here add, so it's a marker, add and transcribe, it's just telling me probably encoding. see. Well, let's encoding. Well, that definitely, let me see, encoding. Okay, not sure. So that might be also because this is a different version. So this might be a new API. So we're hitting different errors already. So let's actually go here. I think it's FFmpeg. So we can do conda activate FFmpeg, and we can say conda list, and we can see if we have, so we have FFmpeg, Whisper, and OpenAI Whisper. Okay, so you know, sometimes this also happens. That would be a nice feature if I had, and that probably is not that hard. Like if I wanted to update the last the last timestamp to the current timestamp, I want, so if I click here, there is like this in here, but I would like the one that says demo to move here to this last marker, right? Because I'm gonna now do it again to like move it below. All right, so I'm now in an environment that we can see we actually have Whisper and we actually have FFmpeg as well. So we have those installed, and all I have to do is run my marker, add and transcribe, and I think we have all the defaults properly set. Yeah, it should be. I mean, if we change the marker text, it's not gonna let us use it properly because it's not gonna be able to replace it. So without further ado, let's just try it. And I'm gonna say some sample text that we want to see there. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and we're going to talk about PyTorch and machine learning. So now what you're seeing is that, you know, this is waiting for 10 seconds, and we've created a marker for that video. It says here at 38:34, which has shown on our markers file. So we have that already, and that's the functionality we had before. And now, you know, you can see this thing has processed my markers, and now I said, and I'm going to say some sample text that we want to see here. And we get here this thing that says, hey everyone, it's not here, so it's none of here. And we're going to talk about PyTorch and machine learning. So I would leave this thing here, PyTorch and machine learning, and that's it. So basically we have a way in which when I create a marker, I can continue talking. I don't need to think about what button to press. I just can do that, and this will work. The only thing, let's try it again while I'm here. I'm gonna actually, now that we know this is working, well, I mean, I had some stuff here in order to debug. So this was just debugging here. So because I haven't been able to get this running from the Stream Deck. The FFmpeg part is the one that fails. So let's try it again. Hi everyone, it's Nono here. We're gonna get some text from the past. And this is the second time that we transcribe with the marker add and transcribe. So this is demo number 2. I don't know how much text this is gonna get. And I believe we're using the Whispers tiny model. That is because that way we have the least CPU usage and it's the fastest that we can. Let's try it again. I have everyone. It's Nono here. We're gonna get some text from the past, and this is the second time we transcribe with the, yeah, so this would be, you know, here I can see it's the second time that we transcribe, right? So this is just an example of what we can do. My intention with this program is to automate and say, we're going to record a tutorial, right? So let's make a real example here. I would do this. I would say, markers and transcription, right? Automating live markers and with transcripts, for example, right? Creative AI. So I would be here and I would maybe we go. So if I have my terminal here right now, I have to run it from the terminal, but we can do it. Let's see, maybe I can try here. Import time slip 3 or 2. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is an overview on how we can automate live markers with transcripts. So this is creating markers and transcriptions for our ongoing recordings with Python, OpenAI's Whisper, and FFmpeg. I also add these commands to the Stream Deck, and yeah, so let's see the demo and let's see how this works. All right, so that was just like some sample text of what I will do. I will create this screen as a intro screen for the video. I would record it as you've seen, but I would have to just add a marker or some sort of marker with an automated text that says tutorial. And then I have to go back to that timestamp and see what it is about. I mean, as soon as I see the markers and transcription, I can come up with a marker and I can choose the text that goes in there, right? And here we recorded, hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is an overview on how we can, okay, so this wasn't super useful. So what we would do there in that case, we can just do here, say, so if we look at the commands help, we can see we have this transcript duration and transcript padding. The padding is not that important if we do it right? So the padding we can say is going to be 0, and the duration, let's make it actually 30 seconds or something like that, right? So let's actually prepare this. Let's do it again. So I'm going to run and go to the other screen. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is an overview on how we can automate live markers with transcripts, basically adding markers with corresponding transcription to a markers file that corresponds to your ongoing recording. I use this for live streaming and for recording podcasts because it's a really easy way to take a look and see what's surrounding your marker to be able to not have to go back to the video and actually choose the title for each section. Okay, so, again, this is just me like adding, like saying stuff so we can transcribe with this. And, now we have 30 seconds of transcript. Hi, everyone, it's Nono here. And this is an overview of how we can... Okay, so hi, everyone, it's Nono here is an overview how we can automate live markers with transcripts, right? So I would go here and say, okay, this is live markers and transcripts or something like that. And you get some other things. So, in the end, it doesn't work perfectly unless you can see exactly what you want. But the idea is that you have some context as just from editing the text, this text file. We could add transcript. And, I've now that we're thinking about this, there's one thing that we could do that is probably really nice. And I only have 6 minutes and I want to go. But wouldn't it be great that we can input the marker, like maybe even the marker text and timestamp, or I wouldn't see that it makes sense to have 2 markers with the same timestamp, right? Like this doesn't make sense, because then you're like, this doesn't really work, let's say. So it would be cool if we could also get this script to get an input that says marker. So basically your marker, I mean, we could actually do, I'm not sure if that's a separate script or is the same entry point, but it would be able to take something like marker, so like timestamp or something, and we say 0401, and just with this, and maybe we need to get, I mean, unless we want to default to the recording, but I'm thinking of doing that offline, we could get the path to the file. So we would still get so let's see, what were we doing here? So we take a look at this. So conda activate FFmpeg. So we get the file, so path to recording file, so that's F, and we'll get here so for now we can forget about this. The file would be this one, so we get, this could be done offline, so we get the file, and if we have timestamp and we have the file, so we could say here another argument that is we don't have anything with T, right? Oh, text. Well, timestamp, and then here we'll say timestamp. This could be default none, and this would be timestamp to transcribe, right? So let's actually print here the options just to see that this works. Invalid int value. Okay, so we actually need a string, right? So we get the timestamp value here, and we can actually pass that as T. No, TS, sorry. TS. Okay, and that works. And because we're getting the directory, we could also say it's just the last file, but let's actually do it like this, so it works offline for other files when we end recording, right? Okay, so so what do we have to do here? We'll have to say if OPT timestamp is not none, we'll print transcribe at opt timestamp, else do dynamic marker, so add marker and transcribe. So if I run this now, it says transcribe at that, but if we were not providing a timestamp, it says add marker and transcribe. Okay, so what we'll have to do here, so let's leave everything else as it is. It's basically add the marker, because we have the recording path, we have the marker timestamp. The recording path is given here if timestamp is not none, and what is the other one is file is not none, and opt file is not none, Let's comment this again. Transcribe at 401. So first thing we need to do is, well, so the first thing is that if OPT timestamp is none and if OPT timestamp is none, we actually just want to do the default, which is basically this. And then right, I have to go and transcribe here. Okay, so here we'll do print add marker, right? So what we want to do is, I mean, the only thing we have to do here is say, okay, my timestamp is OPT timestamp, and recording path is going to be opt to file. So here we'll have print marker timestamp and recording path, and okay, let's try this like this. So if I run this, it just says transcribe at that, and if I remove the timestamp, it will say add marker and actually creates the marker. And up to this point, so at both points we have the same audio file. You know, in the case of add marker, it would have inferred it by the last one on the directory if we didn't pass a path. So here we just need timestamp not to exist, and here we also need that we need to know a file. And at this point, we simply transcription supports so on-demand transcription, and here is like add marker to input file or last modified file in directory. Okay, so we have that and we get that here. So now we have all the things we need to work with these things. So to make it short, I'm gonna leave it, basically I'm gonna do here, let's go for, yeah, and I don't have to even talk because it's just gonna get the text from there. And actually, we don't have to wait if it's in the past, right? So we don't have time. So let's say here, I'm gonna add a to-do, wait and transcribe, don't wait when OPT timestamp is provided, and when timestamp plus duration is smaller than file duration, because you know in these cases we don't have to really wait, but we're gonna wait for 10 seconds. So right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna avoid the wait by manually removing this call, and I'll come back to this. So let's try that this works. So we have at TS 401, I'm going to click this. Immediately it starts transcribing, and we're gonna get the marker there. Nice, it's a QR code there, and yeah, so last live stream was like blah blah blah. All right, so what I'm gonna do is that now, and this is really fun, now I can do with these 3 timestamps, I can do the same. So let's actually do it manually. So I can do 0351, 0351. And maybe, maybe I don't need to do it live. Maybe it can all be done after that's been recorded, because you can see how fast it is, and all I want is to get some text around the thing. So now we're gonna do 943, and we're gonna get that text. Right. So I'll try to answer the podcast for today. You see, so now I know that I can maybe bump this like 3 seconds or something and say, okay, this is actually just the today marker that I usually do. You can submit questions, getitv.com, and I'll try to answer them on the podcast. So this one, actually, I know I can remove. It's a QR code, and yeah, so last live stream was, so yeah, and we can we can do here, maybe increase to there, and live 100, creative AI with friends. And yeah, and this is the introduction. Yeah, the further I'm going to get started. Yeah, as I said, the community is one of the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and this one we can remove. So these are, if I put here the start, these are my markers, and I didn't really have to go to the video now because I have a way to transcribe them directly. So let's remove this, but here the to do, it should go here. Don't wait if we don't have to when timestamp is on demand. Okay, so that's it. I have to go now. So for those of you probably, if you're online, let me know before I go where you're connecting from and how you found us. I'm Nono Martinez Alonso. It was my pleasure having you online today. If you're watching offline, I know this is an odd time, so this will stay there and you can watch it on demand. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. I'll wait for a few seconds here. I have a minute or two in case that you want to ask any questions while I kind of clean up here a bit. And yeah, I'm really happy that we got where we got. I had to do some work offline, but it made a lot of sense here. And now what I'll do is that I'm going to go to that markers file. I'm going to open a web tab. I'm going to go to live 101, and we'll edit that. So we'll edit the video, and I'm simply going to paste this thing. So the last thing that I could do, maybe I do outro, right? Bye everyone, blah, blah, blah. And I put that here, and maybe that's a bit before. So let's say 5080 or something. And I will just paste this here. And we have the video marker. So when this becomes an on-demand video, it will show those markers and anyone can browse the video better. And that really helps. I think people get a lot more out of it. All right. Don't forget to join the community. You have a QR code there. It's none of the mass as Discord. I'll be super happy. You can propose topics, add comments, talk to others, and meet interesting people. I was Nono Martinez Alonso here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.